Hello and welcome to Curzon Living Room, a season of live Q&A events on Curzon Home Cinema. My name is Caitlin Quinlan. I'm a film critic from London, and today I'm in conversation about NINJABABY with director Yngvild Sve Flikke. If you're watching us live, we're taking your questions via YouTube comments, so please send us your questions and we'll read out as many as we can. Welcome, Yngvild. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
So I wanted to start by asking about the creation of NINJABABY. I know it's partly based on a graphic novel called The Art of Falling by Inga Sartre. Can you tell us a bit about how you discovered this graphic novel and how it came to become NINJABABY?
Yeah, it's been a long ride. The idea of making this movie came when I was in sound mixing of my first feature, Women in Oversized Men's Shirts. This was in 2015, and I in that film, it was a multi-plot film about women in different stages in their lives, and one of the women were pregnant. And wanted pregnant, but I didn't have really room to go into that notion. I had been pregnant twice myself, very wanted pregnancies, but I just felt that all those conflicting feelings that you can have being pregnant. I mean, you're supposed to be so happy all the time, but maybe you're not, and maybe you're questioning if you're good enough. I mean, all those feelings. I wondered if it was possible to put that into a film. And I remembered Inga Sartre's book, The Art of Falling, which came out, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years earlier. And I read it when it came out. It was in my shelf, and I knew Inga because, I mean, Oslo is a big city, but not that big. So I knew who she was. I knew she was an animator. And I've been playing with animation before, both in documentaries and also connected to live action. So I figured, and this Art of Falling is such a wonderful book. It's really, yeah, I just love Inga's line. She has a very rough, very, and her humor and everything. So I thought if I could bring her on board, this could be a great movie. So I talked to her and we started working on it. And so that's how the NINJABABY is not in the book. That was something that came later. Yeah.
And Inga is credited as a co-writer on this film. And what was that process like of working together to kind of take a story that she'd worked on and make it into something new for the screen as well?
In the book, Raquel, the main character, is maybe around 16. She's in high school. She's moving. She's come from the countryside, and she has to move to live on her own to go to high school. And I knew that I didn't want to make a film about a young, teenager becoming pregnant. I really wanted to let her be old enough to. I mean, she's able to take care of the child, but she doesn't want to. And so that was one of the first premises, and Inga really agreed. I mean, she also made these wonderful cartoons about the grubby girls, which I also really connect to. So we kind of mixed all of that, and we really worked a lot. We worked on the script and the story and the plot and the main character was quite clear for us from the beginning, because we really agreed that this female character was needed to a younger audience, that we need that liberated, and that that woman that just spoke her mind, but we worked very much with the animation and the story simultaneously. I mean, on both, because we really wanted the animation to be integrated to the narration of the film, that it wasn't something that you put in after. So we had a lot of references and really looked at how you could mix those two in a very much in a fun but also emotional way, because I also wanted to make a fun movie that where we could laugh about serious stuff. that it had some darkness in it, but it was first and foremost presented as a entertaining and fun film, but also very emotional. So yeah, both.
Definitely. I wanted to ask about striking that balance between humor and the kind of more serious subject matter of the film, because I know that can be a tricky thing to pull off. But in this film, it's so kind of natural, and there's almost a sarcasm to Raquel's character that just carries this narrative throughout. And yeah, I wonder how you kind of tackled that balance.
It's a place I really enjoy to be, and in most of my work, if you work towards real drama, I tend to kind of want to make, I don't know, I feel that's a way of survival for me, to laugh when it's not going so well, and that you always have to be, when it goes very well, you need to be very not sure that it's not going so well. I mean, it's like, so it's and with this film, I mean, it's a very low budget film, and it's through this program at the Film Institute. So I really had the possibility to try some of my ideas on. I actually set out to find the perfect intersection between humor and seriousness. I didn't find that, but it was kind of a try and exploring that, how fast can you go from a silly laugh out loud moment to something very emotional, and how fast can you switch between those feelings without being confused in a way. So that we worked a lot on that, and where to put the comedy, and how silly can we be and still be taken seriously, because it is a very serious film, and we have it's a lot of politics in it, but we kind of present it in ironic and satire. It's like satire in a way, some ways, some of it.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that politics, the political side of it, and how we look at women and the kind of expectations placed on them in a society that kind of demands motherhood or demands parenthood in some way, was really interesting to me. And I really felt like this was a film doing something really new and refreshing. This is about a woman who openly doesn't want to be a parent, and I think that's quite powerful in lots of ways. I wonder how you were sort of working through that idea, and why it felt important to have that kind of character.
I've been thinking a lot about it, and I think I had to make this movie because I couldn't really say it loud, because I had so many thoughts about being, a woman, being a mother, and also I've had so many thoughts about the parenthood. Why do we kind of, we expect some things from a mother, but other things from a man, and why is it that way, and why, all these questions have been with me, since I was, young. And when I was 23, it would be, I might, have I had the same attitude as Raquel. I would not be a mother. It would be crazy, because here in Norway, it's very much, at least in some areas, people think they need the career first and then have the child, and all of these, because when you're 23, you're actually in your most fertile age. But it would be a disaster for me being a parent at 23. I had to be, above 30, and then I could have children. So all of this was, just thoughts that I wanted to kind of put into this movie. And also, we have in Norway now, I think 1 out of 4 men above 40 does not have children. And also, is it culture? Is it in your gender, or is it in the culture that it's so obvious that it's the mother that has to take care of it and take all the, all of this is kind of mixed for me. And I tried to put as much as I could into this movie about these thoughts and feelings,
For sure. And I also think there's something about the fact that Raquel is this sort of 20-year-old, or in her mid-20s, and a kind of younger generation reckoning with you know, what being a parent might mean, or what having children means in this kind of world, and you know, looking forward to what kind of life you can give to a child with climate change and all of these things. And I think it's really interesting to see that brought into the kind of the useful side of the narrative as well.
Yeah, and also we really wanted to present this this female character that took that, you know, took that choice, not just on behalf of herself, not because anyone else made her think that way. You know, she was in opposition to what people would expect a woman to think or do and all of that. And also we really worked on presenting her in a very realistic way, like the women we see around that we can relate to, that she's not polished. We tried to make her very unpolished, very you know, we didn't use the makeup, and we at least, you know, we used olive oil in her hair, so you can see that she didn't shower and blow dry her hair every day, because that's not how I see young people, and that's not how I see women around me. So I kind of wanted this honest picture of who a woman now is, you know. That, yeah.
And speaking of Raquel and this character, how did you work with Christine Thorpe on her performance and you know, getting out this character of Raquel in herself?
Yeah, we had a very long casting process, because I mean, how can I say, it's funny young woman doesn't grow on trees, so we kind of had to have the comedic timing, but also the emotional connection to the character and the story. So when Christina came, it just clicked, and this is her first feature. She's done some short films and some series. She lives in Copenhagen, so we had in pre-production, we really worked on her, to find her expression, the way she walks, the way Raquel walks, and the clothes she's having and everything. It's not like Christina, but what Christina had also that was very nice for me is that she really understood Raquel's love for sitting on her own in her room drawing, because she's also she draws and designs, and she knows how you can just go into your own world while you're drawings, and that was also very, very nice. And I think we had some struggles to find Raquel and her kind of bluntness, that she's kind of just like speaking her mind, speaking and saying what other people are thinking. But there was some points right before we shot that everything just clicked, and I saw her come into, and after that, you know, she came in and she was that character, which was really, it's always very frightening, but also interesting to see actors work towards the character, and you just suddenly it's all there, you know, and that's what you aim for when you prepare for a role like that. So it was really nice. It was really nice process.
And in terms of the other casting choices, we have a question from Christopher via YouTube, who says, I thought Nadir Kadami was a really progressive pick for Moss, and how did you settle on Herman Tomaras as the voice of Ninja Baby?
Whoa. Nadir Kadami, who plays the love interest, I've worked with before, and I knew that he had really good comedic timing, but for this role, I really wanted him to not use his all of his, you know, the one-liners and all that snappiness. He had to be really a person with a big heart. So that was we really had to work on that, and we just came up this TV series that we had done. So I made him have a beard and everything, and I knew that he had it in him, but you know, we had to work a bit to get there. But then I just wanted him to be a loving person, the guy that is your friend, you know, the friends, that the male friends that you have around. And for Ninja Baby, it was a whole different, that was something that I hadn't done before, because I hadn't made an animated character before. And that was actually much harder than I thought, because, and I realized maybe it's obvious, but I didn't really think that a voice and a body had to click, that you can't really draw a drawing and then put any voice on it. It will totally change the expression of it. So I don't know, I had so many voices, and Inga was drawing hundreds of fetuses to make it look. In the beginning, he was really, really ugly. And then, a fetus is not very cute. So we kind of had to find the tone of the Ninja Baby, and we had to find the age of the Ninja Baby also, because we tried, you know, the older alcoholic version. We've tried children. That was just sad and not funny. And then when we ended up with this kind of teenager, I view him as this teenager that says, it's always not, you know, it's kind of rude talking, but really want to be loved and want to be hugged and want to be loved, and just, but is not saying that. He's saying everything else, but I love you. But he's saying I hate you, but he really means I love you. And then, so when Herman Tummerås, I saw he was dubbing a movie here in Norway, an American movie, and I forgot the name of it. And I thought, because he was very famous here, and I bet around the world, because he was in this series Scum, which was in like a short series for young adults, young or teenagers. And I didn't see him as that, but what he had is that he had that tempo in him, so that we could really play with the Ninja Baby, you know, being like suddenly appear and then disappear, and he speaks really fast, and it all clicked when his voice was put on the drawings, and so we worked from there. Yeah.
I'm curious about the like practicality of that on set as well. Did you have him there kind of doing the voice to Christina's performance, and how did that kind of play out in the making of the film?
Yeah, but I hadn't casted the voice yet when we shot the films, but I was so lucky that another actor, a friend and a wonderful actor, did play that role. So Christina had a spy earpiece, so she can really react to a person talking to her. Otherwise, I think it would be very difficult because it's emotional scenes, and she has a lot of emotions that she has to express, and it's very difficult to do without having someone to act against, you know. So we were very lucky that he could come and help us out. I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah. Oh, that's very, I mean, I think the performance of the Ninja Baby is just, as you say, it's like really striking this balance between kind of, you know, veering too far into almost too like sentimental or too pitying in some ways. Like you don't want to feel too sorry for this baby, because you know that Raquel is making this choice for herself, and that's the kind of important element of it. And I think the voice is really well done.
Thank you. And it also couldn't be too cartoonish. It had to be like some emotions in it, but you know, it's a balance there. It could be too much, but we hope we didn't cross that line. We tried to go the opposite direction and make him really rude and unlikable, but likable. Unlikable and likable. Yeah.
How have you found the response to the film is in Norway? I'm curious as to how it's been received there.
Well, we've been cursed with the corona, but it's been in cinemas here, and we've had a lot of wonderful reviews and prizes, and you know, we've gotten so much good attention, and I'm very, very happy for that. What's been, you know, most, I don't know if it's like I find that when the film has traveled abroad, it's gotten different I've gotten not very different, but in Norway, it's not that crazy that a man takes care of a child. I mean, we are very, very lucky, and men in Norway are so lucky. I mean, they can really be a parent. I mean, there are cultures that you know, you hardly can be alone with a child if you're a man. So that part differs between, you know, where in the world that they see the film. But in Norway, it's been very much, it seems like it's a movie that was needed in a way, that this character was needed. And it's also a discussion about, you know, like you said, young people having babies. Can we have babies? Should we have babies? And all of that. So it's been I'm very, very glad of all the response that we've had here in Norway. I'm happy for it. Very much.
And I'm always curious to see if, because, you know, as a director, you go through such a long process with the film from, you know, its early conception, to excuse the pun, but to you know, festivals, and then finally releasing it. And do you feel that your own relationship with the film develops as you go through that period and you come out to the sort of the finish line, I guess?
Yeah, very much so. And I didn't go to film school, but I studied anthropology. So just talking to people around the world and seeing in, you know, where it really resonates is very interesting to me. To you know, just understanding how things are different, even in Europe and even in the States versus Europe, and when it goes to, you know, other countries outside Europe. It's been very interesting to see. So that's, I find kind of, it fuels me in a way, you know, it fuels me up to talking about this film with people that just have different views on it, or not different, but they kind of emphasize different things about the movie. And that's such a joy when you make this movie, and that it has a life, and it kind of gives people some thoughts that they can bring out of it. That's something that as a filmmaker you really it's a very nice feeling. Yeah.
And looking ahead, I mean, what kind of stories do you feel attracted to as a filmmaker, and what kind of motivates you to continue as you know, carry on in your filmmaking career?
Well, it usually starts with something that I can't really express any other way than making a film. And so it starts very, very much like a lump of clay that is just like a lot of thoughts that you can't really make sense out of. And then you try to form it into a story that can inhabit all of those, you know, kind of feelings. I'm very drawn to stories about, you know, the questions about gender, and it's not like it's just, why do we organize ourselves the way we do, you know, why do we organize our lives and our societies, our politics the way we do? I'm very drawn to that. And I'm also at the moment more drawn to stories for grown-ups and not young adults, because I feel like I have to change a bit, but never say never. I don't know which of the ideas I'm working on that will end up as a film. So
well, I'm sure we're all very excited to see what comes next. And after NINJABABY, definitely keep an eye on what you've got coming up. So thank you so much for your time this evening. I hope everyone listening has enjoyed. And everyone can go and watch NINJABABY on Curzon Home Cinema. I think the film is also playing at the Curzon Soho and Curzon Bloomsbury here in London. If you enjoyed this film and this event, please tell your friends. There are lots of other Curzon living room Q&As for you to enjoy. You can follow Curzon Cinemas on Twitter and Facebook for all the latest updates on events in cinemas and online. I've been your host, Caitlin Quinlan. You can find me on Twitter at CSA Quinlan. And yeah, this has been a lovely chat. Thank you so much, Yngvild. I've really enjoyed speaking with you, and I love the film. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. And I hope you enjoy the film in the UK. Bye.
Bye.